Hello everyone, I'm teacher Helen. Alright, I'll be teaching you economics or political science, what most of us know as government. Alright, but today I'll be teaching you economics. I hope you're ready to learn with me, so keep an open mind as we learn together. Alright, so today we are looking at Introduction to Economics. Alright, we are going to look at how different economic scholars have defined economics over time. All right. It is agreed that economics is a social science. Different propounders has come up to identify economics as a social science. There are different definitions according to different authors. But for this lesson, we are going to be talking about definitions of at least 6 definitions. We'll look at that of Adam Smith, A.C. Peck, H.J. Davenport. We'll look at that of Alfred Marshall. We'll look at that of John Stuart Mill. And finally, we'll look at the most acceptable definition, which was given by Professor C. Robbins. So let's go into the business of the day. Alfred Marshall defined economics as the study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. The study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. Now, if we look at this definition, there is only one question mark there, which is what? Simply put, what is economics? It talks about the study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. This economics was totally focused on how man takes economic decisions, how man relates with others while making economic decisions. All right. The second definition is according to Adam Smith, who is regarded as the father of modern economics. Now, Adam Smith defined economics as an inquiry into the nature and causes of wealth of nation. An inquiry into the nature and causes of wealth of nations. The question mark in this definition is still all about what it is. It's simply an inquiry on how wealth is created. You notice that this particular economics is focused only on wealth creation. All right. From there, we move on to that of J.S. Mill, John Stuart Mill. John Stuart Mill defined economics as the practical science of production and distribution of wealth. The practical science of production and distribution of wealth. This question mark in this definition is still about what economics is. All right? It says that this subject simply talks about how wealth is produced and how wealth is distributed. That is, how the goods and services produced is distributed to the final consumers for the satisfaction of numerous human wants. That is all on J.S. Mill. Now, moving on, we are going to take that of another economics known as H.J. Davenport. Herbert J. Davenport defines economics. He simply sees economics as a science that treats phenomenon from the standpoint of price. The science that treats phenomenon from the standpoint of price. H.J. Davenport definition is totally based on price tag. That is, for any economic item to have value, it must have a price attached to it. That is what he's trying to say in his definition. The science that treats phenomenon from the standpoint of price. Quickly, we move on. I want this video to be very short. We talk about that of A.C. Peck. A.C. Peck definition is basically based is on a science that looks at economic welfare of man. Yes? Science of economic welfare, material welfare, a science of material welfare, best put. In some other books, according to, you can see longer definitions, but this man focuses more on a science of material welfare to make life better for man. That is what A.C. Peak totally focuses on. So lastly, I want us to take one more definition before we quickly round up, and this is according to Professor C. Robbins, Professor Charles Lionel Robbins. Now, this man has the most acceptable definition of economics, according to all scholars. All other scholars in economics have agreed that he has the most acceptable definition, and I will tell you why. But before that, let's go into the definition proper. The definition has a lot of question mark. It has what? It has why? How? All right? So, he defines economics according to Professor C. Robbins. He says, economics is a social science. Economics is a social science that studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. A social science that studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. A social science that studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. Now, if you notice, this definition is all encompassing. There are salient points, or there are major key points in this definition that tells you all about economics. Economics is important due to scarcity and numerous ones. Now, this man identified 4 major points. Let me state them. The first being that he has identified economics as a social science as agreed by most scholars. Of course, we know that man is the subject here being considered. All right. He also tells us that economics studies the relationship between ends and scarce means. Ends and scarce means mean 2 different things. The ends in its definition means numerous human wants. Remember that we desire to own goods and services that give satisfaction. No matter how rich a human being is, no matter how wealthy a human being is, want to acquire more, want to have more houses, want to have more cars, more shoes, just name it. We are insatiable, we want to own everything. But the problem here is that the resources to acquiring those goods and services that gives maximum satisfaction is limited. That's what he means by scarce means. As is the scarce means to satisfying those ends are limited. All right? You see how this man has been able to bring everything together to make it complete. Then he also talks about alternative uses, that the limited resources we have can be put to numerous wants. For instance, if I want a car and I want maybe what can I equate with it? Let's say I want a gold wristwatch and I want a designer bag, and my resources can only get me one of those items. It's important that I think about my want, which is more important, and which should I satisfy first at the expense of another. That is what the alternative uses, that the limited resources we have can be put to different uses. All right? So this man talks about economics being a social science, ends, which is numerous human wants, scarce means, which is limited resources, and lastly, alternative uses. That is why so far his definition has been accorded or has been referred to the most acceptable definition of economics. I hope we are together. Lest I forget, let's take our positive affirmation, okay? So that we know we are together here. All right, let's go. My mind is blessed. I have the mind of God. Therefore, I am healthy and I'm wise in every area of my life. Yes, thank you. So then we move on to branches of economics. Basically, we have just two. I'm just going to be talking about two. We have macro economics and micro economics. Now, micro is that branch of economics that deals with smaller units or components of economics, of the economy. All right, while macro deals with larger units or aggregates of the economy. All right, so I am going to be stopping here. I'm going to be putting up an assignment. I want you to go home and give me at least 3 definitions of economics and state 2 reasons, or better still, explain 2 reasons why economics is regarded as the most, or why Professor C. Robbins' definition is regarded as the most acceptable definition. Thank you for your time. Remember that you are wise, you're intelligent, and learning comes easy to you. Till I come your way next time,